Ladies and gentlemen, you thought you were forgotten, but you were being formed. You thought the silence meant the answer was no, but heaven was still writing the story. You wanted elevation, but God was focused on foundation. Because the stage without strength will crush you, the promise without preparation will break you, and the spotlight without surrender will blind you. Listen to me, young warrior, old soldier, silent dreamer, this is not your punishment season. This is your preparation season. Every delay is shaping you. Every no is protecting you. Every private pain is building a public power. And if you dare to listen to the fullness of this message, you will never again mistake God's delay for his absence. Delay is not denial, it's development. But many of us, in our haste and desperation, have confused the silence of God for his rejection. We assume that because the blessing hasn't arrived, because the promise hasn't manifested, because the door hasn't opened, somehow God has changed his mind about us. But let me speak directly into your soul today. God's delay is not abandonment. God's delay is not punishment. God's delay is preparation, refinement, and alignment for something far greater than what your current mind can even comprehend. When God chooses to prepare you, he doesn't always warn you. He doesn't always announce the beginning of the process. He doesn't always explain why he's slowing things down. Sometimes he just pulls you out of the crowd, takes you behind the curtain, and begins to shape you in secret. And in that quiet place where applause can't reach you and validation is removed, he starts dealing with things the world can't see. Your mindset, your insecurities, your hidden pride, your undeveloped faith, your fragile endurance. Because what he has planned for you requires more than talent. It requires capacity. God's preparation doesn't always look spiritual. Sometimes it looks like struggle. Sometimes it looks like loss. Sometimes it looks like being overlooked, underestimated, and forgotten. But what man calls delay, heaven calls design, and while you're counting days, God is building depth. While you're watching the clock, he's expanding your character. While you're looking for escape, he's increasing your strength. He's not slow. He's intentional. And if you try to step into the promise before the preparation is complete, the weight of what's coming will crush what wasn't built to hold it. Some of you are tired because you thought it would have happened by now. You thought the relationship would have healed, the doors would have opened, the vision would be funded, the mission would be moving faster. But let me ask you something. What if the delay is the very thing that's saving you? What if the very thing you're crying over not having yet is the very thing God is refining you for, so that when it does arrive, it doesn't destroy your peace, your purpose, or your focus? Because a blessing too early can feel like a burden. And God's preparation ensures that what he gives you doesn't overwhelm you. It positions you. We live in a generation that glorifies speed. We want everything now. We celebrate the overnight success. We envy the instant fame. We worship the quick win. But God does not operate on your microwave timing. He is the God of the process. He is the God who builds you in silence before revealing you in power. And when he builds you, he doesn't rush. He takes his time to make sure the cracks are sealed, the roots are deep, and the structure is strong enough to survive the storm that comes with success. Some of you are in that preparation season right now. You are in the wilderness between who you were and who you're becoming, and I know it hurts. I know the waiting is heavy. I know the silence is confusing. But don't curse what's making you. Don't run from what's refining you. God does not waste pain. He does not waste tears. He does not waste time. Every moment is part of the blueprint. Every challenge is part of the construction. Every setback is setting you up. Every unanswered prayer is preparing you to handle what's on the other side. You think you're ready because you're gifted. You think you're ready because you're passionate. But gifts without grounding can lead to pride. Passion without patience can lead to burnout. And God loves you too much to let you arrive at the promise unprepared. So he delays, not to harm you, but to help you grow, not to break you, but to build you, not to deny you, but to develop something inside you that will last beyond the applause, beyond the platform, beyond the moment. And one day, when the doors finally open, when the opportunity arrives, when the stage is set, you will realize why it took so long. You will understand that the silence was sacred, the isolation was necessary. The slow pace was strategic, and you will not just thank God for the promise, you will thank Him for the process, because the delay didn't stop your destiny, it shaped it. There is a strange and sacred power in what you go through in silence. The battles you fight when no one sees, the tears you wipe when no one notices, the doubts you wrestle with while still showing up strong. These private struggles are not pointless. They are preparation. They are not wasted. They are weight training for your soul, because what you conquer in secret becomes the strength that sustains you in the spotlight. What you fight through in silence becomes the testimony that carries power in public. God uses private pain to forge unshakable strength. You may not see it now, but what's breaking you in private is building something unstoppable in you. You see, we've been taught to hide our struggle, to bury our weakness, to smile when our hearts are bleeding. But heaven doesn't work that way. God isn't afraid of your pain. He's not put off by your process. He allows private battles because He knows the depth of your strength is not measured by the praise you receive in public, but by the integrity you hold in private. When nobody is clapping, when nobody is checking, when no one is watching, and yet you still stand, you still pray, you still fight, you still believe, that is where strength is formed. That is where power is born. That is where real leadership is built. Some of you are in the middle of that secret battle right now. You're doing everything right on the outside, but on the inside, you're barely holding on. You show up for people. You pour into others, you wear the mask, but inside your spirit is tired, your mind is stretched, your heart is searching for a sign, and you wonder, does any of this matter? Does anyone even see me? But let me remind you, God sees what others miss. He sees the night you cried yourself to sleep. He sees the temptation you resisted when nobody would have known. He sees the decision you made to keep going when it would have been easier to give up, and He is not blind to that sacrifice. Heaven takes record of silent obedience, and in due time, what you've sown in secret will break forth in strength for the world to witness. We must understand something crucial. Visibility does not define value. Just because the world hasn't celebrated you, yet doesn't mean God hasn't been preparing you. Just because your pain hasn't been published, doesn't mean your process lacks purpose. Some of the most dangerous people in the kingdom are those who have bled in silence and still chose faith. They are not loud, but they are lethal. They have scars instead of applause. They have depth instead of hype. They've been through fire and came out not consumed but refined, and that kind of person is unshakable, because their strength was not built in the public eye. It was forged in secret, in solitude, in struggle. If you're fighting privately today, you are not weak. You are being sharpened. If you're wrestling with yourself in silence, you are not failing. You are being strengthened. If you're waiting for a sign that all this private pain has a purpose, this is it. You are becoming someone the world is not yet ready for, and that is why it hurts. That is why it's heavy, because God is digging deep. Because He is preparing not just your gift, but your backbone, not just your vision, but your vessel, not just your calling, but your core. And when the time comes, when you step into the space God has prepared for you, the world will be drawn to your strength. But they won't understand the story behind it. They'll see the grace, but they won't know the grind. They'll hear the wisdom, but they won't know the weeping. They'll feel the power, but they won't know the pressure. Because what was built in private cannot be explained in public, and you won't need to explain. You'll just walk in it, you'll just carry it, you'll just lead with it, because it was real, it was raw. It was earned. Before God reveals you, He builds you. Before He allows you to step into the place that people will recognize, He develops you in a place they will never see. This generation is obsessed with visibility, but God is focused on maturity. We crave platforms, but God prepares in private. We want the light, but He works in the dark. Because what you become when no one is watching determines how you carry yourself when everyone is. The danger today is too many people want to be seen before they are ready to stand. They want to be celebrated before they are rooted. They want the crown without the crushing. But God is not interested in launching you for the world to clap if you haven't been built for the weight of calling. There is a process before the promise. And that process will often feel like being overlooked, like being left behind, like everyone else is moving ahead while you're stuck in place. But I came to tell you that you are not stuck. You are being stationed. God is not withholding success from you. He's protecting the seed in you. Because when He reveals you, you must be strong enough to withstand both the applause and the attack. The moment of revealing is not just about opportunity, it's about opposition too. And if your identity is not rooted before the revelation, you will lose yourself to what was meant to lift you. Many of you are in that hidden season right now. You feel invisible, you feel forgotten. You wonder if what you carry matters at all because no one seems to notice. But let me assure you, God is not preparing you for visibility. He is preparing you for responsibility. And responsibility comes with pressure. It comes with weight. It comes with the demand to stay consistent when emotions fluctuate, to stay obedient when results are delayed, to keep your heart pure when success tries to inflate your ego. And you cannot be built for that in public. You are built for that in isolation, in the quiet places where you choose discipline when no one is watching, in the small assignments where you give your best without an audience. That is where God builds leaders. That is where He shapes destiny. Do not despise your hiddenness. Hiddenness is a holy place. It is not punishment. It is preparation. In the hidden season, God teaches you to depend on Him instead of people. He teaches you to find your identity in His voice, not in their applause. He breaks the need for validation. He removes the addiction to attention. He teaches you the power of silence, the strength of patience, the discipline of focus. Because when the spotlight comes, it won't change you. It will reveal you, and if God hasn't revealed you yet, it's not because you aren't valuable. It's because your roots are still growing, your foundation is still being laid. And when the time is right, what has been built in secret will speak for itself in public. There is danger in being revealed too soon. A platform too early can become a prison. Success without submission leads to self-destruction. If you rush ahead of God, you may gain attention but lose your soul. You may get the opportunity but lack the wisdom. And so He hides you, He shields you, He allows the door to stay closed, not because it's not yours, but because you're not finished. And that is not a failure, that is love, that is protection, that is divine timing at work. When God finally reveals you, you won't have to fight for the room, you won't have to compromise your values. You won't have to manipulate outcomes. You'll walk in with peace, you'll move with confidence, you'll speak with clarity, because the time you spent hidden was not wasted. It was sacred. The time you spent misunderstood was not punishment. It was protection. You were not overlooked. You were being preserved. You were not behind. You were being built. The crushing you are feeling right now is not a sign that you are being destroyed. It is a sign that something powerful is being extracted from your life. Pressure is never sent without purpose. When God allows the weight to press down on you, it is not to suffocate your hope, but to squeeze out the distractions, the pride, the fear, the comfort zones, and everything that cannot go with you to the next level. There is a purpose behind the pressure, and what He is preparing you for cannot be carried by a casual version of yourself. He is transforming you into someone that can handle the fire without being burned, someone who walks through the storm and does not break, someone who shines with the oil that only crushing can produce. We live in a world that avoids pain at all costs, a world that teaches us to numb, to distract, to escape. But God does not operate like the world. He uses pain as a tool. He uses hardship as a hammer. He uses pressure as a sculptor shaping the soul, because nothing authentic ever comes without refining. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is purified by fire. Oil is released through crushing. And the version of you that will walk into purpose must be processed. The version of you that will carry the weight of destiny must be purified. You want the glory, but the glory requires grinding. You want the platform, but the platform demands pruning. And so, God applies pressure, not to punish you, but to prepare you. Some of you are in that very moment right now. You're feeling the weight of uncertainty, the tension of transition, the burden of becoming. And it feels like everything around you is closing in. You're praying, but there's no clarity. You're moving, but doors remain shut. You're showing up, but breakthrough seems delayed. But don't let the enemy lie to you. Don't believe the voice that tells you it's all falling apart. It's not falling apart. It's falling into place. The pressure is not the end. It's the beginning of something sacred. It's not meant to crush you permanently. It's meant to extract the greatness hidden deep within you. There is oil in you, there is purpose in you, there is power in you, but it cannot be released through comfort. It must come through crushing. And when God prepares to pour something fresh through your life, He presses everything that doesn't belong. He presses until the fake is exposed. He presses until the distractions lose their grip. He presses until you begin to lean on Him and not your own strength. Because in that pressure, you learn who God really is. You learn to stop trusting the crowd and start trusting the cross. You learn to stop depending on your plans and start leaning into His purpose. You stop asking for comfort and start asking for character. That's the point of pressure. It transforms what cannot be taught. It breaks what cannot be removed gently. It builds what cannot be faked. There is something about being pressed that produces a clarity that comfort never could. It teaches you what matters, it reveals your real friends, it separates the shallow from the solid, and it makes you ready. Because once you've survived the crushing, you no longer fear loss. Once you've walked through the fire and come out whole, you are no longer moved by the approval of people. You begin to operate with a quiet confidence, a humble strength, a sharp focus. And that's what the enemy fears. Not your success, not your following, not your visibility. He fears a person who has been crushed, yet still believes. He fears someone who has lost it all, yet still prays. He fears someone who has been through the pressure, yet still praises. That person cannot be stopped. The crushing is necessary because the oil is necessary. The world doesn't need more performers. It needs more vessels carrying real power. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs the sound of people who have been through pressure and carry a word that was birthed in pain. God is not trying to embarrass you. He is empowering you. He is not trying to destroy you. He is distilling you. He is not pressing you to weaken you. He is pressing you to release what's inside of you. The pressure is birthing a version of you that hell will regret ever trying to stop.